sporting event, top 5 movie of the 2000s, sports trivia, hold the line, way too early NFC North predictions, and hot in here. Follow us on Instagram at followthrough show, Twitter at FT Show, Facebook, which is what? For your parents at followthrough, and you can email us at followthrough.podcast@gmail.com. Still ain't got that changed yet, because you know what? We're a show now, and we can't be more excited about it. Clay, Eli, how are y'all doing today, boys?
Dax, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing phenomenal. Because, you know what? It's the first episode on YouTube. I'm sorry, podcast people who are listening to this on the podcast right now. You should be watching.
I don't know what
we're talking about.
We still love you, but we're on YouTube now.
We are on YouTube. And let's go ahead and start off pretty hot and heavy up in here. We're going to talk about the top 25 preseason for college football. ESPN dropped their top 25 like they always do with their reporters and their super smart people on there. So this is what they've got. This is our little breakdown of it. We're going to go from 25 to 20 today, and then we'll so on go 5 more in the next coming few episodes. Because you know what? College football season is ever upon us.
It is
We're close.
And I couldn't be more excited, personally, myself.
Gosh.
So at 25, we got Arizona State Sun Devils. Eli, what's your opinion of the Arizona State Sun Devils?
You know, when they came out with this, a lot of time you can say these ESPN guys, they're over-analysts, and they do. They look at everything. So, you know, I think they know what they're talking about. Do they deserve a top 25 spot? I'm not sure. They went 5-5 last year, but they do return 20 starters, 20 of 22, 9 offensively, and they return their whole defense. Now, last year the Pac-12 was the Pac-12, but you know, we'll see how that goes this year. I'm hearing a lot of hype around them.
And you can't really blame the teams in the Pac-12 for being like that. It was just poorly ran by the commissioner.
They didn't think they were playing.
Yeah, and then when you just throw that on a ton of teams, they're like, hey, well, get ready, you're playing next week.
Right.
I mean, that's just kind of hard to process. So I think that's why I believe that none of the Pac-12 teams just really, none of them had a good year, honestly.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. They do return a lot. Of course, they return Jaden Daniels, starting quarterback. He showed a ton of promise his freshman year. Again, we didn't get to see him much last year, limited games for the Pac-12. But I expect him to make the big jump. Herm Edwards, of course, has done a phenomenal job when he's been there. So I could see this team definitely being maybe even higher than a top 25 team, maybe top 20. That's probably about as high as I'd put them, though.
Yeah, I have a little bit of an issue with what they've got going on, which is an ongoing NCAA investigation of how they handled COVID-19 and some of their recruiting practices. But Jaden Daniels has the potential to be a Heisman quarterback this season.
Dark horse for sure.
Especially considering that he plays in the weakest conference that is still considered a Power 5. I would not say that, but he's got a chance to be really good this season.
Returning all 11 on defense is huge. If you can get, Pac-12, it's just like there's no stops out there. You get some veteran guys on defense. Look out for them to play BYU on September 18th. That'll be sort of their key game to see who they are early in the season.
And just one more thing but Jaden Daniels, if y'all remember his freshman season, he beat Oregon late in the season with Justin Herbert and knocked him out of the playoffs.
Yes.
So that's why his name, that kind of grew his name. Like, hey, this kid's legit. So I agree with Dax. That could be a dark horse Heisman contender. He's got a ton of potential.
I agree 100%. I think, really last season could have been 2, but with the limited amount of schedule,
once again, that's not on them.
When you play 6 games, you're not going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, very true. Well, let's go number 24, the Ole Miss Rebels, who they're coming in 2020 record was 5-5. Their preseason FPI for this season is 20. They open up September 6th versus Louisville.
We had Mac Brown on, so I'm a little bit, biased. A little biased here. I had Ole Miss as my 3 in the SEC West behind Texas A&M and Alabama. I think they're going to just continue to go up. Lane Kiffin's got them rolling there. They've got the come to the sip stuff going on. Look like they're having fun. They return 18. They return 18 starters, 8 offensively, 10 defensively. Like I said, it's just seeming more and more the defense just seems to give up more. Mm-hmm. Get 10 guys back, get some experience in there. Lane Kiffin's building what he wants there, and I like them higher than 24, honestly.
I believe the biggest name, of course, they lost was Elijah Moore, but I don't think that's too big of a loss. I think you can fill that void. I do like Ole Miss a lot. Of course, we've said it before, they're going to be able to score with anybody. It's the matter of fact, can you get the stop when you need it? So that'll be interesting to see, but yes, this team is definitely a top 25 team for sure. I
always go back to the Bama game last year. Just seeing somebody actually compete with Alabama on the offensive side of the ball, it just makes you hopeful for the next year.
Yeah.
And I would, you brought up Elijah Moore talking about him being gone this season. I would look for Ja'Kyre Pearson. He's a transfer from Western Kentucky to look in and fill in that spot for Elijah Moore. That's a huge loss for the Ole Miss Rebels because he was so dynamic. But here's the deal. What's one thing that we always see at Ole Miss, even with coaching changes, from Hugh Freeze, what's his name, Matt?
Matt
Luke.
And now
you have Lane Kiffin. What's one thing Ole Miss always has? They have a wide receiver. No matter what, every season they have a wide receiver.
Sometimes they have multiple, like the NWO.
Exactly.
Guys.
I mean, Evan Ingram was a glorified tight end there. He was more of a wide receiver at that point. So look for him to take that spot. They've got a gauntlet. They play in the SEC West. That's always how it's going to be, but they have the tools to compete in every game they line up against every team
And with the defensive struggles they faced last year, it is very important that they said they returned 10 starters. So you got a lot of experience coming back. I think that defense should be better, probably significantly better this year than prior to last year.
No doubt.
I 100% agree. I agree with Eli that I think they're going to be a little bit better than 24. I think they'll finish up near the top 10. I don't know if they'll crack it this year just because of their schedule, but look for them to be around that top 10 all season. Number 23, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. Let me go ahead and put this out here now. I think this is last season biased heavily right here. I do not think they'll be in the top 25.
They went 10-1 last year. They got a lot of hype. They won their conference. And I kind of agree with you, Dax. Last year, asterisk, whatever you want, yes, no, it doesn't really matter. Last year is kind of washed. Like they got a chance to prove themselves early. They play at Texas. Well, that'll be their big game. They return 20. They do return 20.
Yeah,
they went 10-1 last year, but I kind of agree with you. I think they might fall out of this.
And here's the deal. I think they'll fall out of it, but I do think they have a great chance of beating Texas.
Let me fact check this, but they beat Iowa State week 1, correct? Was that last year? Was that the first game? Week 1 they beat us.
So, and Iowa State that's projected very high this season, and who's returning
6 last year.
And what they returned 20 out of 22.
Yes,
I think it's close there.
10 on each.
Yeah, 10 on each.
And I know their coach, not this year, but the year before they went 10-1, he was a huge name in coaches that were going to get signed. And he said he's staying here because he believed that the team he had developed here was better than any team he could develop anywhere, or that he could go into anywhere else. So the coach believes they got all the talent in the world. And I know a guy who was a sports trainer, like a sports assistant at Louisiana, actually. And he's been pouring. I'm into it. I'm all on the hype train. So I think this team will be good.
And here's the deal. I mean, that's part of the reason the point you said. That's the reason why he turned down going to interview for the Auburn job.
Yeah,
yes, he was one of the big. He was one of the big names.
He was a huge name.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I'm biased here. I'm really glad we didn't hire him. I did not like the idea.
If they beat Texas, they're probably going to run through their conference, and they're going. They talked about the respect they gained last year. They're going to talk about a top 10 spot.
They're one of those teams that this year could have really used for the expansion to go ahead and just be into place. Because they could definitely be one of those teams that gets in the top 12 if they beat Texas. Here's the deal. I think they could beat Texas. I just have a feeling that, sometimes these teams have a blip on the map. They just pop up and it's like a lightning strike. Never strikes twice.
No room for error in that conference.
Exactly. Let's talk about number 22, another team that's just right aligned with that, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Eli, what's your breakdown of the Chanticleers?
They went 11-1 last year. We all remember they beat BYU and Zach Wilson in a close game.
Great game.
Mormons versus
very good game.
Mormons versus the Mullets.
They were had all that going. They returned 20 just like Louisiana, and can their schedule can it get them up there? I don't know. I don't know how you can top what you did last year. It's going to be very difficult to have a good a season as you did. They play Buffalo early. That's kind of one of their somewhat games to get them a better resume. But I don't see enough there to do much more than where they're at.
But is it really a better resume? All they have Power 5 is Kansas.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This team has a huge chance of going undefeated, but is it going to be very impressive?
No.
And here's the deal. Grayson McCall, great quarterback. I think he'll transfer. I think he goes this season, transfers out to a bigger school, especially if he puts up another awesome season. Here's the deal. They're going to beat Kansas.
Yeah.
They're returning pretty much the exact same team. They're going to beat Kansas. But Kansas is the worst team in Power 5 college football.
Kansas is worse than some of the teams that these guys play.
I'll take Eastern Carolina over Kansas.
All right,
Arkansas State,
this was just a funny. Kansas's over-under for wins this year is 1. So do you take it?
I'm pounding it.
Honestly.
Under?
Probably.
If you look at the schedule, you can see the one they might get, and then it's like nothing else.
Oh, is it like, what? Do you know who's on the schedule?
It was just a nobody, and you're like, they probably win that one, but that is just throwing that in there with the one. Like, that is the lowest over-under for wins of anybody in college football. So,
and that's probably their, like, highlighted game. Like, that's their biggest game.
Let's go beat Kansas.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I guess that they will be ranked with this schedule. I don't see them losing a game, honestly.
Look to see them in another bowl game this year, but
they earned the respect to be on this list, but will they do anything with it? I doubt it.
I completely agree. Number 21. A name that is always synonymous with college football, but a name that's just been in the news cycle every day. The Texas Longhorns hiring Steve Sarkisian, best hire of the offseason, in my opinion. The next best coach in college football, in my opinion. I think he is going to be Saban's disciple that finally beats him.
Let's not throw Saban's name around.
Well,
I said the disciple. I think he's so much better than Kirby.
I want to get on the Texas hype.
I'm on the Sark
train. I've been trying to get on the Texas hype for like 5 or 6 years now. You just keep thinking they're back. They won the Sugar Bowl. Sam Ehlinger says that. Mm-hmm. Things just seem to tell from there. Last year they went 7-3. They only returned 13 guys. Only 6 on the offense, 7 defensively. I don't want to buy into the Texas hype yet. I do believe in Sark, Dax. I really do, but they're going to have to prove to me. They got Louisiana on September 4th, so that'll be a really closer game than a lot of people think. And if Louisiana can win that, like I said, they will gain some huge respect.
A name to watch for Texas is Keelan Robinson, running back transfer out of Alabama. He had his moments.
I remember him.
But that kid is a stud. And when he transferred, it kind of broke me because he has a ton of potential. And watch out. I don't know if it'll be this year, but he will make a name for himself at some point while he's there. Because he's still young.
He's playing in a cupcake conference.
We can sorry, I wasn't ready for that. We can play this clip back and see if Clay was right or not. You know, like if he's having like a stellar year, we'll just play this clip and put it out.
And it might not be this year, but I would be shocked if he doesn't make a name for himself.
Next, you're going to get fined.
This is my projection for the 21 season of Texas, though.
You're going to get fined.
I think Sark's going to be a great hire and coach, but this season, though, horns down.
It's going to be hard to perform well after how much media recognition you have received the past month.
Oh, yeah. You're under a huge magnifying.
And it's hard to perform well in the sense of that you're completely gutting a program. Under Tom Herman, that was just average at most.
Yeah. I believe that this team will probably be ranked at the end of the year for sure.
25.
Right where they're at.
Yeah, probably where they're at. But I do agree with Eli. You can't trust these guys. You've never been able to. So, but maybe Sark can turn around. I think Sark, of course, he's an offensive guru, so we'll see.
I agree. Guru's a little bit low in my opinion. I think he's a mastermind.
Yeah, he's one of the best. If he is the best offensive mind.
He's in a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 20 to round out our top 25, 20 through 25 today on this episode of Fall Through. The Penn State Nittany Lions 2020 record, they went 4-5. The FPI ranks them at 13 this year. Key game for me is, of course, going to be September 18th.
I wonder what that one is.
Auburn versus Penn State. Whiteout. Me and Eli will be there.
I won't.
Sean Clifford. Can let me go and give you my analysis of this. Sean Clifford is the most overrated quarterback in college football. He's a bum, and I think he will single-handedly hurt this Penn State team all season. He's going to get James Franklin fired after this.
So you're going to go back to clips.
Yikes.
He lights up Auburn. We can go back.
Dax, when we're there, they're going to play this before the game, and then they're going to smoke Auburn, and we're going to waste our money.
Here's my deal. Sean Clifford, mark my words now, James Franklin will be fired because of Sean Clifford.
Okay. I don't know if that's going to be why.
Put money on it now.
I don't know about Penn State. I don't feel like they're tailing up like they used to be. There was a time where you were like, holy crap, we have to play Penn State. Maybe we have to go to Penn State. The idea that I want to go and watch Auburn is obviously because Auburn's going, but like I'm not necessarily scared. I'm really not.
You're not going to watch Penn State. You're going to watch a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Auburn may lose this game, but I'm not like going in thinking like, hey, we're going to get smoked. And I'm not like fearing Penn State. Now, if we were headed down to Tuscaloosa or out to College Station, I'm like, a little more nervous. But, I mean, Auburn may lose this game, but like Penn State doesn't have that fear factor like they used to.
Yeah. Oh, my voice. I did my voice crack. First one on YouTube.
Let's go.
But I agree completely with what Eli said. You don't fear these guys like you used to. Now, of course, going to Penn State in a whiteout game is intimidating. Don't get me wrong.
I wasn't discrediting any of that.
But I will, like, you're not like, oh gosh, Penn State, that's going to be a tough one to lose or a tough one to win. So I completely agree with that. And like Dak said this before the show, they're getting a lot of, like, their names around a lot, and they weren't good last year.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
like,
what are you basing
that on?
Yeah.
They really struggled last year.
No offense to our Nebraska fans out there, but Nebraska wasn't good last year, and they beat Penn State.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Nebraska team's got a bigger upside this season than the Penn State team does, because Penn State, I mean, you lose Micah Parsons. And he didn't even play last season?
He didn't play. No, he sat out.
So here's my deal. Who are you producing NFL talent-wise besides Saquon Barkley? And you had the running back who couldn't play because of a medical condition. But
yeah, I don't think
you had one big Rose Bowl moment 5 years ago, and now you're back.
See, Dax is just laying billboard material out, Dax, and we want to win this game.
And I know millions and millions of you Penn State fans are listening right now. And let me just put this clearly out there. My lock for the September 18th weekend of college football is Auburn will beat Penn State.
Yikes. I'm not going to say that.
I'm sorry. If we can beat an Oregon team a couple years back,
shouldn't have beat them either.
I'll take us over a Penn State team. I just take the lucky hat. I mean, I know we don't have our lucky rabbit's foot with Gus Malzahn anymore, but Brian Harsin will flex on them to win that game.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Where you going?
Well, let's talk about what is your favorite major sporting event.
Clay, you want to kick us off?
I want to hear Eli because I know what it is.
No, it's March Madness. In my notes, I have March Madness -easily, period. There's really nothing else close to that.
I've never met somebody love the NCAA tournament more than Eli Underwood.
It just puts the biggest smile on my face when it comes around. It's just, y'all know.
Oh,
Cave of Madness last year. Dax, I think you missed out on that.
I did live in Oklahoma, so yes, I missed out on it.
Last year, I took my garage completely over, set up 4 TVs, because there's 4 games going on at once, and I don't want to flip channels. 4 TVs, took all of my TVs out of my house, set them up in the garage, had couches, lamps. It felt like a living room, and filled out multiple brackets. I just love it. It's my favorite time of year.
I loved playing baseball in high school, but the one negative of that was you missed a ton of games because you were either practicing or you were playing a game. And I remember at the Cave of Madness, I checked out of school to go to Eli's house, and I had an area game against Hartselle, so I couldn't even enjoy it, because I was about to play like the biggest game of my life to that point. But yeah, I knew March Madness was going to be
just so good. Everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, you got a chance to win in that tournament.
And I'm excited I finally get to enjoy it because I don't have
it's incredible.
I don't have anything to do now really.
That was
except
easy.
Go to school.
Glad I got that out of the way.
100%.
What you got, Dax? I want to hear this.
You
go because I want to make. I have like 2 I could use.
So I have a couple too. Of course, I thought the World Cup.
This is not a debate.
I really enjoy that.
This is not. I'm just gonna check out.
But Eli's gonna hate this. WrestleMania is my favorite sporting event. I could not watch wrestling. For a whole year, but I'm gonna pick up.
Oh my god!
Whatever subscription I've got to pick up, and I'm gonna watch WrestleMania.
That's a joke.
Even if I watch for 5 minutes,
I think I'd rather watch. I do. If I bet, my favorite's the Rumble.
Yes, the Rumble is great too. But let's see, it's a culmination of a year-long story building up.
A year-long story.
I did not watch a
year-long story. Yes, it's fake.
Hey. Don't use that tone.
Yeah, hey, look, it's still real to me.
You see the emotion when those guys hit a buzzer beater in March Madness? It's not fake.
That emotion when Kofi Kingston pins and wins his first WWE championship.
Against Daniel Bryan.
We watched that.
Have you seen the emotion?
There's got to be somebody that agrees with me.
Of a young Clay and Dax Crow when the John Cena finally beats The Rock after a year of torment, a year of hell in his life.
That was one of my best moments of my life.
He raised that WWE title in New York.
I love that. I love that one.
So here's my deal. It's not really like, a sporting event. Technically, it's sports entertainment, but I love that event. I told you this the other day. I was like, I just could, pick it up and I'm going to watch it no matter what. I texted you a few months back when they were, putting on WrestleMania Live again. I was like, I'm going to watch it. I was like, I have no idea what's happening, but I'm going to watch it.
I'm offended. Just go, Clay.
I'm going to use this one kind of, I guess, as like an honorable mention. I love college football rivalry week. The last week of the regular season. I love that.
Thank you. That's respectable.
But my favorite sports just time of the year goes along with Eli's, but mine's the conference championships in
that is
in
good
March.
Week. Champ Week. They call it Champ Week.
Yeah, Champ Week. All these teams are just, most of them aren't going to make it out of the round of 64. But, there's always that one, Oral Roberts this year, and Abilene Christian.
Yep.
And they're just fighting for their lives to make it out. And I love
whoever comes
it.
out of their conference is going to get in.
Watching those two, I'm trying to think. I watched, of course, I watched UNA and Liberty go at it, and it had no implications. But I enjoyed that. I loved watching Winthrop this year. I thought they were going to make it pretty far.
Make a little run.
But I just love watching those smaller colleges, play their heart out because they're trying to make it to the big dance and make a name for themselves.
That's where the real aspect of this comes in, unlike Dax's favorite. But when you talk about that, they talk about how their tournament starts a week early.
Yeah.
Because if they lose that, then they're not going to get in anyway. So, their NCAA March Madness starts a week before everyone else's, and they have to win their conference to get in. So that's a great.
And don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching the Power Fives, but a lot of those Power Fives,
it's already decided.
Yeah, if you lose, you're not out,
and a few of them are getting in.
Yeah,
right.
With those mid-major conferences, it's like you're in. If you win, you're in. If you don't, you are not getting in.
Season's over. It doesn't matter what you did. Yep.
A close honorable mention for mine as well was definitely the college baseball tournament. Yeah, I love the college World Series.
I'm surprised that wasn't your one, really.
That's a legit series where it's like you lose and you're gone, pretty much. That's what I enjoy. Even when Auburn's heartbreak moments, like when Florida hit a tank off our guy's glove and goes over the fence, those are just memorable moments that you love. Well, let's talk about one of y'all's personal favorites here on the show. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Y'all ready?
Ready.
First time on YouTube. Top 5 movies of the 2000s from our resident movie expert, Eli. Jokes.
Y'all ready for this?
Jokes. What's your number 5? Or what's your honorable? Do you have an honorable mention?
I do have an honorable mention. Okay. The Prestige. I don't really know how to explain that movie, and I'm not going to because it's very confusing. Shown to me by the Carson Knight, so shout out Carson. Very good movie. It was in my top 5 when I started the list, and then it got edged out. But number 5 is Facing the Giants. It's a Christian-based movie, football. It's really got all the things I love in it.
Jesus and football, that's all you need.
2006, just a classic, in my opinion. It's going to take my 5 spot.
My number 5, I also took a football movie. I went with The Blind Side.
That's in my honorable mentions, way down. Feel-good
movie, of course. I loved it. I've watched that movie so much, and I've watched it growing up. Inspirational story. It's a true story, so that plays a huge part. But Blind Side is my number 5.
So I got my honorable mentions. It's always a top 10. It's always a top 10.
He just lives doing a top 10.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Love that movie. Castaway, Tom Hanks, legend.
Castaway.
No.
Oh my gosh. And you don't watch TikTok?
I don't. What are you talking about? TikTok?
Oh, shut
up.
Don't
TikTok.
Anchorman. Remember the Titans and The Blind Side.
Okay.
Those are my
that is Dex's bottom 5. Now tell us your 5.
So, my number 5, National Treasure, 2004.
I saw that. Thought about it.
So, it's just a genuinely fun movie. And then what you got is people who don't care about history love this movie, even if they could give a crap about American history. And Ben Gates' story is just genuinely lovable, and his relationship with Abigail Chase is also lovable. Plus, Justin Bartha, who plays Riley Poole in the movie, is genuinely just a funny, nerdy character that makes a great comedy. So I love National Treasure, and it's just a fun ride for the whole family. One of Disney's best movies, in my opinion.
All right, number 4, I have The Hangover.
That's incredibly low.
So good.
That is a good
Ed
movie.
Helms and Zach Galifianakis. Love both of them. It's just good. It's just a feel-good, funny movie, and I'm here for that at all times. Go watch it anytime and laugh every time. That's my number 4.
At my number 4, I have Remember the Titans. This is a movie that I felt like a few months ago we all could have watched as a country because, of course, all that was going on, and that just really brought things into perspective on what we should look like as a country. It's just a crazy inspirational movie. Great story. I love it. It's a classic, of course. So Remember the Titans is my number 4. If you haven't seen it, What are you doing?
I'm
assuming everybody that. I'm assuming everybody. I'm not going to go into crazy detail because I'm assuming everybody has seen it.
Yeah, but there's going to be one who hasn't.
Yeah,
always.
Go watch it.
You got to go watch it.
Right now, y'all can't tell because of the way the boxes are set up. But Clay's to my left side.
Left side.
Strong side.
Oh my God! Have you seen this movie?
I'm so sorry.
Crap.
I'm so sorry. I got nerves.
It's okay.
YouTube nerves,
Yeah, jitters.
All right, my number 4, I've got Almost Famous. Came out in 2000. It's definitely the best coming-of-age movie of the 2000s, in my opinion. It follows this little guy named William, who's a 15-year-old who is wanting to be he just loves music and wants to write about music for his living. So he gets hired by the Rolling Stones, and he follows this up-and-coming band called Stillwater. And basically, like, he learns, like, all kinds of things about life on this tour with this band. And he's a 15-year-old in high school, writing. And Kate Hudson, who is the main girl character in this movie, completely steals it from everyone else. So this is the first one on my list that I recommend to be a certain age before you watch. The next 3 or the next 2 on my list behind this will be those as well. So if you are not a certain age, do not watch this movie. Okay. Eli, what's your number 3?
Number 3, if you're of any age, please watch this movie, Mall Cop. Paul Blart Mall Cop, first one. I couldn't put it in 2010s because it was 2009.
And you got on to me for WrestleMania.
I don't care what anyone says about Paul Blart Mall Cop. I love him. I love Kevin James. Love anything he does. That is a great movie. And honestly, I'm sitting here thinking it might should have been higher, but there's no way it could get the other 2. So 3, Mall Cop.
My number 3, I have Avatar.
Great movie.
I watched this. That's what I was about to say. I watched this a long time ago when it first came out, and I didn't really respect it the way I should have. But then I went to Disney World my sophomore year, or going into my sophomore year that summer, and I rode the Avatar ride, and I was like, I need to go back home and watch this movie again. Completely changed my opinion on it. I love it. So thank you, Disney World, for making me appreciate Avatar again.
Thanks.
And if you haven't been, or I guess if you haven't been to Disney World, you haven't rode Avatar. But when you do go to Disney World, I don't care how long the wait is, you need to ride that ride.
It's going to be a long wait. Just get ready, but it's worth it.
And it just has made the movie. It honestly put the movie in my top 5 because as I was watching it, I thought about me being on Pandora, and I was like,
there's no doubt
I love this movie. I've been in this movie basically. So
you're a big Pandora guy.
Big Pandora guy.
Big Pandora guy.
Paint me blue. I'm ready to go.
All right. So number 3. If you know me, you know I love this movie. Step Brothers.
Dang it. I didn't even think about that.
Dude, I love this movie. Okay, I've at least watched this movie over 50 times. It's easily the most quotable movie of all time.
It is good.
You put on my drum set, let's see, you've got I'm Dragon. You can call me Nighthawk. Great movie. Love it. It's one of those dumb movies where you turn your brain off and you still have a great time. So I'm going to go with Step Brothers. Just love that movie in general.
Great movie. For my 2, Remember the Titans. Clay alluded to it. He basically said all I wanted to say, but I don't know what it would be called, mesh with this movie a little more because I went to Tishomingo twice, and I just feel I know what they're feeling getting on that bus. It is the worst feeling ever. So, and anyone that's been to Tishomingo can also attest to this. When you go to those camps, it is just bad. And so I kind of feel it more when I'm watching that. Obviously, the storyline's great, and everyone should watch it. If you haven't, go do it now. That's my 2.
My number 2, I have, of course, the great just Rocky Balboa, which is actually the 6th installment.
I really had a debate with myself if you were going to put that on there.
It's the 6th installment but it's called Rocky Balboa. I went and saw this movie opening night.
2006?
Yes, I was 4 years old. And I wore my Rocky costume and my Rocky gloves.
How do you remember that?
How do you remember
I will never. How could I forget it?
No,
that's a very good point. That's why it's in your top 5.
It was a late night, and I went with all my cousins, and so we were all really little, and all my cousins fell asleep. Dude, I'm telling you,
Clay McGuire didn't fall asleep.
Like this right here the whole time during that movie.
I mean, Clay's sitting there punching the screen.
And I went back and watched it, of course. a ton of times. It's pretty sad because, Adrian isn't in it. She passed away.
Spoiler, oh my gosh.
Seriously. It came out freaking, how long was that?
15 years ago.
If you hadn't seen it yet, I'm not apologizing. So it's got that emotional effect, but then he gets in the ring. He's all old and stuff, and he's still whooping freak. Can't remember his name. Mason. His last name's Mason.
Riley Mason? No,
it's not Riley. I can't think of his first name, but I know his last name's Mason. He gets in there, goes pound for pound with him on the last round.
Is his first name Mason?
Mason Dixon. Is
Mason
that it?
Dixon. I think that's it.
Yeah. Anyways,
I think that is it.
He gets the last punch in when the bell rings, and it's like a send off for the Rocky franchise. I'm like, and then he goes and visits Adrian at her grave, and that's how it ends.
But is it really the end for the Rocky franchise?
Well, my guy Michael B. Jordan decided he was going to take over that role.
He picked up the mantle.
Yeah, that's some hard shoes to fill, but so far he's done a pretty good job. But Rocky Balboa is my number 2.
I agree. My number 2, The Hangover, 2009. It's filled with nonstop laughter. The friendship of the Wolf Pack is unbeatable. Yeah. Alan Garner, which is Zach Galifianakis, has got to be one of the best characters in movie history.
So good.
I can't remember his name, but the little Asian guy who is a doctor in real life.
Dr. Chan?
He's a legit doctor in real life, and he acts in movies for fun. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, great role as always. Everyone carries their weight. And you can't say that about most movies.
You're right.
The whole cast, not everyone carries their weight. Each one of those characters
no doubt
carries their weight. The whole movie is a good time. And what's cool is like with what all goes on in that movie, and I'm not going to spoil it because I know, it's been 12 years, but with all the storylines that happen in that movie, the final scene, the final act ties it all in together well. It's number 2.
I love Ed Helms.
I do too.
So I think he's so underrated. He's hilarious.
Too.
I agree 100%.
He came in the office and really better than it was.
It wasn't very hard though.
Okay.
Turn his stuff off. My number 1, I think everyone knows this. This is not. Had a little talk last night with Luke Sasser and Ellis. They were like, "What is your favorite movie of all time?" Hands down, Cars. We ended up watching it after, so. I watched Cars last night. Yes, I'm 20. And
seriously debating muting him and turning off.
I watched Cars last night. Not gonna lie, it's just hands down the best movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it and actually pay attention to what they're trying to get across. Storyline's great. The lesson learned great. McQueen is awesome. Mater is even more awesome. I'm not. You can say what you want about that. That's easily probably my favorite movie ever.
Whoa!
I need you to check out of here.
But of the 2000s, for sure, that takes the 1 spot.
Hey, wait.
No.
Check it out.
See, that flopped.
At my number 1, I have The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh my gosh! Talk about a tearjerker. I really didn't see that coming.
Pain.
If you haven't seen this, I actually watched it for the first time recently. Not very recently. It's been probably a year, but dude, if a movie can make me cry, there's not many. Dude, I was bawling during this movie. And it's not like a huge, like, it's a happy moment, but you're like, he made it. He finally made it. I'm not going to spoil it, of course. Will Smith is a star, and he has a son. His son kills it. Jaden did a great job.
Which is cool that's his son.
Yeah. But dude, when it got to the point where he got what he was striving for and he was able to provide for his son, all that hard work he put in, it finally came together. And I was crying. I was like, holy crap, what is wrong with me? But that's my number 1. Will Smith is that guy.
That's a great movie. My number 1, The Dark Knight, 2008.
I had it in my honorable mentions.
The best acting in a superhero movie, hands down.
Yeah.
Unbeaten. It's a great acted movie all the way. Heath Ledger kills it in the best character in comic books and movies, the Joker. Best villain, my bad, not character. Best villain in every comic book you want to talk about is the Joker, and he knocks it out of the park. No one will ever live up to what he did in that movie.
He did.
It's a brilliant villain origin story with Harvey Dent, showing him being the hero that everyone loves and becomes the villain in the Two-Face character. And I had to write this down. I had to write down my thoughts about this. But one of the coolest things about this movie, and let's also talk about Christopher Nolan, one of the greatest modern directors of all time, directs this movie as well. But the message it portrays, and I had to write down my thoughts with this. You ready? This is Deep Thoughts with Dax. Any superhero movie plays up the excitement and good feelings that come with saving the world and rescuing the kitten from the tree, all in the same day.
Yep.
The Dark Knight took a different approach. With several story arcs and thematic elements woven into one overarching message, it showed that when faced with crisis situation, mankind's best always emerge in their extremes. This was demonstrated during the nail-biting boat scene when an ultimatum was given to the passengers on both vessels, and also in the final act when Batman is branded the villain and made a scapegoat for the anger of Gotham's populace. Christopher Nolan dug deep into the fabric of humanity and our behavior in the times of great peril.
Poetry.
You got a tissue over there?
Clay Mack made me want to do some more movie.
Yeah, Clay's a big movie guy.
Well, Clay, I love movies already, but Clay was like, I've just started writing reviews for movies. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of the ones I went back and did. And I was like,
fun.
I had to bring that out of the hat. Yes. I just love that movie overall. It's one of those movies that when you walk past it and you see it on TV, I'm going to sit down and watch it.
You're going to click it.
Every time.
You got something you want to say?
That's fun. No, it's just funny. Like you wrote a review the other day, and now Dax has written this
your turn.
Real deal review.
No, that was number one. We're out on that.
No, I'm saying it's your turn to write a review.
Oh yeah,
and y'all are really passionate about it. So
yeah. I love movies. I love movies more than TV shows. I love movies more than music. I think movies are the best art form.
I'm gonna write one now about
cars.
Dearest Lightning McQueen.
Oh my gosh. Well, I told y'all Eli made me and Clay to the States last week.
Did.
Well, I decided to make them do something this week. Sports trivia.
Oh, Lord.
Now, I threw him a couple bones.
Everybody knows I love sports, so I need to do well here.
But this is not easy. Let me put this out there. So you ready? Number one.
I'm ready.
Eli, I want to keep me a tally
on
who's got points
right here. Don't worry. I live in
You live in Tallyland.
Yep.
Number one. What is the only team in the NFL to neither host nor play in a Super Bowl?
Oh.
I know it, I think, but I Clay.
Let me know when both contestants know their answers.
Okay. I'm gonna say mine.
Go ahead, Clay.
Oh gosh, that's not right. Is it never host or be in?
Never host nor have they played in one.
I don't think Jacksonville have they played in a Super Bowl? Jacksonville's my final answer.
Detroit.
Wrong and wrong. Cleveland Browns.
Wow.
Great. I thought the Browns back in the day.
Yeah, I did.
At some point, maybe hosted it. Okay.
Not in the NFL.
Over.
Number two. Which basketball player was Michael Jordan nicknamed after when he was in high school?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, they would have been. He's probably like.
Dude, can you tell us his nickname?
50 years old now.
No.
I'll give you this. He's considered a all-time basketball player.
I don't know.
Dude, that's a long time ago.
Oh, you just brought a book.
Okay, I'll give you two teams. He could have played on. He could have played on the Celtics or the Lakers.
I don't.
Think about famous players.
Crap.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah, Magic Johnson.
Correct and correct.
Hey!
Good job. I mean, I had to.
That's fine.
That's fine. Y'all are welcome for that answer.
We appreciate it.
3. Who was the first NBA player to test positive for COVID-19?
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, there we go. I thought I'd throw y'all real easy, bud. Number 4. In 1990, 2 Major League greats made baseball history by becoming the first father-son duo to hit back-to-back homers in an MLB game.
1990.
Father-son duo. This one should be
I
really
couldn't tell
easy.
you a father-son duo that's ever played. So, I'll take my loss here.
Clay, if you don't know this, and by the way, Body Armor, sponsor us.
I don't know
Please
this
do it.
one. 1990.
Just take a guess, because I'm not.
Oh,
going to.
Clay. Like, this one's easy.
Hank Aaron.
MLB. He's saying that because we have a
kidding.
Hank Aaron poster in the studio. Dude.
I don't know.
Just throw a name out there. He's a junior.
King Griffey.
And his father. Yeah.
I almost said that, and I didn't know.
Think about the only really...
Dadgummit, dude. I thought I knew that. That was literally what I was about to say.
You got that answer. You gave
know.
King Griffey.
I just don't know.
I knew that, and I didn't think that King Griffey Jr. was that old. I didn't know he was that old.
All right, this is one neither of you will get. I'm just going to put this out there. Presidential ceremonial pitches have been a tradition in MLB since the opening day of the 1910 season. Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch?
What is wrong with you?
That's not even a president.
That is not a president. Holy crap.
That's his answer. That's what he said.
Holy crap.
I want y'all to look at the live reaction on his face right now. Remember, we're on camera.
Yeah.
Wow, that was bad. Shoot. I was thinking of Truman.
I heard a saying the other day, and it's very true right now.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life.
It's better to not say anything and let people think you're
right
than let people think you're stupid, than open your mouth and prove them right. You just proved everybody right.
I meant Truman. President
Y'all just
Truman.
missed the fist bump that was right there.
Was his name Harriet?
No.
I think it was Harriet Truman.
I don't know. I'm stuck at my president. So
you may just read it off to y'all?
Yes.
Andrew Jackson. I'm just going to say that one.
Holy crap.
That's way too far.
Okay. Howard Taft was the answer. Bonus
he got
fact.
stuck in the bathtub, and I honestly thought about that.
Out of everything you know about that man.
He did.
Bonus fact. Since 1910, every president except Jimmy Carter has thrown at least one ceremonial first pitch.
Come on, Jimmy. What are you doing?
Even Richard Nixon threw one.
Get out there.
All right, number 6. I made some of these really hard. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
There's only one athlete to hit it. This one's easy, though. To hit an MLB home run and score an NFL touchdown in the same week. He's the same athlete who's the only person to ever play in both a World Series and a Super Bowl.
Is it Bo?
I want to say Bo.
Oh, my gosh. Deion Sanders.
Oh, wow.
Wrong and wrong.
Oh. Harriet Truman. Okay, I feel better. I do feel better because his name is Harriet Truman. That's who I was thinking of. What did I say?
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman.
She is a...
I understand. I know who she is. I just said the wrong name. I feel better that his name is Harry.
Deion Sanders. Really thought y'all would have got that one. Or, my bad. Sorry, Deion. I mean, Coach Deion.
Yes.
Coach Sanders.
Number 7, who is the oldest Heisman Trophy winner? What is his name and age?
Oh, wait, the first?
No, just oldest.
The oldest still living.
No. Oldest.
The oldest to win it.
Like,
how
at
old?
age.
Oh.
Cam was old, wasn't he?
Cam was old.
Probably wasn't the oldest.
I feel like Burrow is old.
I'm going to go Cam.
I'm going to go Burrow.
Okay. Chris Winkie, FSU.
What the heck?
Max, give us some relevant
and
questions,
he was
please.
28 years old. That's an old Heisman.
Holy crap.
I know. Yeah, I know. All right, number 8. This one's easy, Clay. How many Heisman winners does Alabama have?
3.
2.
3. Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Devontae Smith.
Forgot about Smith.
Hey.
Those are all Saban products,
yeah,
too.
and that's all been in the past 10 to 12 years.
Yes.
Since 2009.
Yep.
Yeah, 2009.
Correct. Number 9. What was Tom Brady's number in college?
Oh, free. Was it 16?
No. I think...
Clay's answer's locked in.
I think it was 4.
Wrong and wrong. Oh, my gosh. It was number 10.
It was 10.
16 sounded right. I can picture it.
I don't know why I thought 4.
It was number 10. Oh, gosh. Number 10. What play does ESPN consider the greatest college football moment of all time?
It's got to
kick 6.
That seems like the obvious answer.
If it's not, yeah, I agree with you. But if it's not, they're wrong.
Greatest player of all time.
Greatest play.
Probably the Texas USC Vince Young.
Which one? Is it, you going Texas or you going kick 6?
Texas Vince Young.
Are you going kick 6?
I feel like
I'm going to go kick 6.
I'm going Texas Vince Young.
Clay's correct. It's kick 6. I tried throwing both of you a bone. One with the Heisman, one with the kick 6.
Whatever. It is the greatest play, though.
I'm mopping the floor with my competitor right now.
I don't know if sports trivia will make a comeback.
Probably not.
This is probably a one and done on this one.
I liked it. I'm very mad at myself. I didn't know King Griffey Jr. off the top. I just couldn't say it because I was afraid
you were going to know that
stupid.
one.
I'm just thankful that Harriet Truman is named Harriet. I really felt like an idiot.
I seriously thought you were going to get a few of those easily. The Chris Winkie, I knew it was going to be hard. Yeah. But I felt like it was so hard not to put a 28-year-old Heisman.
I should have gotten Ken Griffey.
And I wanted to put Ken Griffey just because he's like the most famous father-son duo.
I should have gotten that.
I mean, in my opinion.
I actually know who that is.
Well, let's do something that Eli seems to be a little bit better at.
Okay.
Is he, though?
Ooh, little heat. We got Hold the Line
Clay's
going
doing
on.
Really well right now. He's doing really good.
Clay is doing really good. Would you like to give the statistic of how well Clay's doing right now?
Clay, I think you've basically locked up a W. if we pick any of the games the same the rest of the way, it's over. You're up 6. We have 6 games
really,
left.
it's a competition between me, Eli, and the polls.
Yes, the polls are up 1-14. Me and you have 13 days.
Oh, close race.
Close race. So 19 for Clay, 13 for me, 13 for Dax, 14 for the polls. This week we're picking the Reds and Indians money line, Marlins and Padres money line, Yankees and Royals money line. There's no other sports going on. I tried. I looked up everything there.
He did. He texted us. He was like, "There's nothing out here."
I went Olympics has women boxing, and I was about to do that, and there's no games.
Speaking of Olympics,
today,
real quick, I might as well bring it up. Congratulations to the United States for winning the Olympics. Even though there's not really a true winner, we led in every categorical spot for medals. We won in gold, bronze, and silver, and we won the overall medals.
Good stuff. USA.
That's called a sweep.
USA.
It's a sweep. Thanks. Also, hey, pause. I also have to get this out, too, since we talked about FSU quarterback. Rest in peace, Bobby Bowden. Thank you for your legacy that you left here on Earth, for being a great coach, but an even better man.
Huge loss.
Thank you, Bobby Bowden. I feel like we had to get that out there. I'm about to tear up over here.
Don't tear up. It's okay.
All right. Back to the fun stuff. Hold on.
Reds and Indians. Clay, you go first.
This is easy. Reds. Okay. They're red hot right now. Maybe not red hot, but they are heating up right now. They got Luis Castillo on the mound.
Castillo's on the mound.
They're going to win. They're 10 times better than Cleveland is.
What Clay says is true. The Reds are on a 4-game win streak, and right now they're playing like a team who wants to make it to the postseason. And the Indians, I'm going to go ahead and start calling the Guardians to go ahead and start preparing myself.
Yeah.
They look like they're looking forward to 2022, so I'm going to go with the Reds, especially with Castellanos on the mound.
I've got the Indians. The Guardians, I don't know why. Let's go Guardians.
Here's the deal.
And Padres.
You're going to pick against Clay every time just because you want to catch up?
I already had that in.
My mental status, I'm here to beat you now. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not going to catch Clay.
I'm kind of cutting Clay off here.
I have the Padres. Miami. We say this about teams when it gets to this point of the season and you're not in the playoff picture, it kind of becomes hard to motivate yourself to keep playing.
Right.
Padres are one of the best teams in the league. So I think it's a pretty easy pick. I like San Diego, but it is baseball. It's a crazy game, but San Diego should win this one.
Dax?
Here's my deal. The Padres are easily the better overall team. And then when I broke it down even further, I like their bats more than I like the Marlins pitching staff. So go ahead and give me the Padres to win over the Marlins.
I also have the Padres. Like Clay said, they have something to play for, and Miami just doesn't. And
also, can we talk about how those are like two of the cooler names in baseball?
Yeah.
Padres and Marlins.
In Miami, Clay wears that hat around, and it's pretty sweet. Last game is Yankees and Royals. Money lines on those. Clay?
This is an interesting game. I like the Yankees. Again, they play in one of the better divisions, of course. I think that they definitely need to win this game. I think they will. They killed it at the trade deadline as much as you can. I mean, that team was already stacked. They somehow stacked it up even more. So I like the Yankees in this one.
They fell to Seattle over the weekend, the Yankees did. And after some dormant bats, I look for them to bounce back here against the Royals. I mean, they're missing Rizzo. I'm pretty sure Rizzo tested positive for COVID. But the Yankees are they're too good to lose, pretty much, it feels like on paper. So go ahead and give me the Yankees.
They got shut out today. They're not going to get shut out 2 days in a row.
I have the Yankees as well, and I picked these long before I got here. So I do think they'll play better than the Royals. And I did see where they lost Seattle, so bounce back.
Yeah. Well, let's continue in what we've been doing each week leading up to the NFL season, kind of like what we're doing with the preseason top 25 right now. So today we've got you the way too early NFC North predictions. This has been really fun.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. And people voting has been good too, like to see what they think.
I completely agree. And you know where you can vote on that? You can vote on at Instagram at Follow Through Show. Yes. Not Follow Through Podcast, Follow Through Show.
We're a show now.
No doubt.
Yes, we're a show.
No doubt.
You know, it'd be a slight
It's always
word.
a movie up in here, up in the studio.
Okay, whatever. I kind of preferred to make it an opera.
Get to the over-unders.
Okay. Eli, go ahead and give us the over-unders and start with the team that's going, start wherever you want.
Okay. So I sent these out earlier. Y'all know them. The Bears are 7.5 wins. The Detroit Lions are 4.5 wins, over-under. Packers are set at 10, and the Vikings are set at 9. So we'll start with the Bears. Clay, what do you think about the Bears over-under?
This is the hardest team to pick in this division without a doubt because the defense is among the best of the best. The offense, They have weapons, but you don't know who's going to the quarterback. And as much as I've seen about how good Justin Fields is, you can't truly know until he takes the field. So at 7.5, I'm going to go over.
That's the first over you've taken.
Yeah, you've taken a lot of unders.
But not I don't want to, but I'm going to. I'll take the over on the Bears.
I'll punch that in. Make sure that's wrong. Dax?
Okay, as a Bears fan, literally to my right now, there's a Bears pendant hanging on the studio ceiling.
Just say it.
It's hard. I'm going to take the over because I think we're going to get at least 8 wins this season. I expect that. My one thing for you, though, is that Justin Fields will lead that team to more wins than Andy Dalton will. Now, as a Bears fan, I want Andy Dalton as our quarterback week 1 because I don't want Justin Fields' first game he starts is at the Rams against Aaron Donald. So
that's a great point.
Go ahead and give me Andy Dalton the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then you go ahead and be Red Rocket and bum yourself out of that spot, and we'll have Justin Fields lead us the rest of the season. Looking for 8 to 9 wins as a Bears team this season. Just because that defense is so good.
I just think that defense is good enough to win some games alone.
Yeah, and in the offense, you're returning back a lot of guys who got hurt last season, and you're getting rid of Mitch Trubisky, which is a upgrade already. So go ahead and give me an 8 or 9 win team right here, and it'll keep Matt Nagy's job for another year.
The Bears are my least favorite team in the NFL. This was long before. I
cannot stand you.
This is just. I absolutely hate Chicago. I hate not the city. I hate the Bears. They're just. They really. I'm not going to go any further. They're not getting 7.5. If they do, I'll be mad. But
I put a hex on your Tennessee Titans.
I just do not like the Bears. I think everything they've done over the past 5 years has just been really pathetic. Now, they have built a defense, and I give you that, but not 7.5. I'm going under. We got the lines at 4.5. We talked about this earlier. I'll start us off with this one. I think that's a lock. They're playing 17 games this year instead of 16. Their coach, like Dax said earlier, their coach is going to get them 5 wins. The way he approaches this, they got golf in there. They're sort of changing things up a little bit. I'm going over for 4.5.
They're going to suck, but I do think they'll win at least 5 games. I like Goff. He gets a lot of hate. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I mean, he's been to a Super Bowl. Now, you can say what you want about maybe he got carried to one, but he's been there. I think this is at least a 5-win team. It's hard to play 17 games and not win at least 5.
You're right.
And like Eli said, that coach is strictly business. He's, he seems like an old school guy. He talked about he has like a caffeine addiction. I know that's very random, but he's just like that's just how he is.
He stays in the headlines pretty much. Yeah. Like I see a lot about him.
And this Lions team is extremely young, and they lost a ton of weapons on the outside, so it's going to be tough for Jared Goff to really throw to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But like 17 games.
We also got DeAndre Swift though.
Yeah,
that helps.
So I think this is a 5-win team at least, maybe 6. We'll see.
All right, I'm going to take the over at 5. I just think they'll win more than 4.5. Like we talked, we were talking in the pre-show, and I told them I just think that Dan Campbell will will them to victories. I mean, he said we're going to bite that guy's kneecaps off this season.
Yeah, stuff like that's what you.
Just because of that guy right there, they're going to win at least 5. I think Jared Goff, who gets called Jared Goofball way too often, is ridiculous to me. I think he's a decent quarterback, not a great one, but he's a decent one.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give me at least 5 wins because really, with the extra game, like Eli said, who is really going to lose that many games?
They would have to lose 13 games.
Yeah.
It's the good thing about the Lions, though, is that this is a young team, so that mindset that coach has, he's going to be able to instill that in some of these younger guys.
No doubt.
Plus, also, this is something that a lot of people don't factor in. They play indoors.
Yep.
And that's something I always think about. Hey, you're playing indoors, so you're not having to deal with a lot of conditions that most people are. So you should win about every home game you play in.
Which they won't, but
they should win some.
5. I'm thinking 5. Speaking of a team that doesn't play indoors, the Packers, normally it's brutal there, can be at times. Theirs is at 10. So 10, you'd have to get really 11 to pick this over. Or you can pick a draw like Dax does most of the time. Packers are at 10. I think that they're going to go over that. Aaron Rodgers is back. It's really enough said. Blake, I respect Aaron Rodgers. I really do. So
I'm also going over. This team is just, I mean, it feels like this is it, make or break season for these guys. This is probably your last time you're going to have Aaron Rodgers. Probably maybe the last time you have Devontae Adams. So a lot of pressure riding on this season. I think they come through with that pressure. And this is a great regular season team. It always has been. It's can you get past the NFC Championship game? Yeah. But I think they'll go over. This is my division winner. I I got them over 10. So
I have them as my division winner as well.
As a Bears fan, I hate to say this, but they're going to go over 10 wins. They're going to at least get 11 or 12. They're my division winner as well. It's really, like Clay said, it's Super Bowl or bust. It's their last dance with Aaron and Devontae. I think there's no way that both of them are back next season. But it will be a bust to Tampa Brady.
If you lose
Tom
to
Brady will
Tampa
beat
Bay
him
again in the playoffs, it's going to...
We all know what I think about that.
I think it's going to be a big bust once again. I hate it for them because this is going to be their last season altogether as a team. They're a good team, but I'm sorry, no one's beating that Tampa Bay team, especially if you match up with them again.
They got big Kansas City too.
Yeah.
A very quiet Minnesota Vikings after what we just said.
I do like one second before we go to there.
Good.
I do like that Green Bay defense though. Yeah. I think that it's continually improving.
I thought 10 was really generous.
I thought 10 was very generous as well.
11 or 12 would make me think a lot more than
10. It was lower until Aaron came back.
Right.
So if we'd have picked it like 2 weeks ago, it would have been completely different.
No doubt. All right, and the last team is the Vikings. I'm going under. It's at 9.
What are we at?
9. They got Kirk Cousins, and then Jefferson's he's gonna be a star. I mean, he really is. But
now everybody's going to focus and hone in on him.
Yeah, you're right. And I just don't know. I just don't see them winning 9 games. Plus, I don't like to go over like across the board. So I'm just gonna take the under for them.
I think this is probably two teams out of this division will make the playoffs, and it's of course the Packers are going to make it, and that's going to be who's better between the Bears and the Vikings. I personally believe the Bears will be better than the Vikings. That might be a hot take. I don't know. I'm not huge on the Vikings. I've seen a lot of hype around their name. A lot of people thinking that they might even win the division, but for sure at least second. I'm not quite into it. I'm not sure about Kirk Cousins. They weren't great last year, and like you said, Justin Jefferson, of course, he's going to be a star in this league. But again, to Dax's point, you've been able to study some film on him. You can kind of lock him. You kind of lock in on him. And Adam Thielen's great, of course, but
even he's getting a little older.
Yeah, he's not. He's definitely not as good as Justin Jefferson is, and so he'll probably get the majority of the reps, I believe, or majority of targets because Justin Jefferson's going to be most of the time guarded by cornerback 1. But I'm just not huge on this team. I think they're probably about 7 or 8 wins. I just don't see them going over 9, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you have Dalvin Cook returning this season. He was injured last season, most of it, right?
Yeah, that's a big pickup.
In my opinion. I'm correct.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, I remember he was a fantasy football star.
I thought he was hurt for
He was hurt a little bit, but he didn't miss that much.
He helps a ton.
I thought he was hurt a little bit, but here's the deal. This isn't the Vikings teams that we've seen in the last 5 years. Their defense is nowhere near as good as they have been.
Thing.
And so, for me, like Clay said, I think, and this is not being a Bears fan, this is seriously, these are the 2 teams that it's going to be on the second playoff spot. And I just think that this Vikings team's going to finish 8-9 and miss the playoffs by 1 game. And I think the Bears will be that 9-8 team that's going to make it. I don't love their coach in general. And Kirk Cousins, I think he's got a chance to be a sleeper as always, but he just got to prove it in the prime time.
Yeah.
And he never does. So go ahead and give me them to finish under by 1 game and go 8-9.
It comes down to what you prefer right here because you look at it, Minnesota, if you think that these are the 2 best second teams because of course Green Bay's number 1. And you look at Minnesota, they definitely have a superior offense. Then you look across from Chicago, they definitely have a superior defense.
Yeah.
Just what do you prefer?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
And in the NFL, for me, I always take defense.
Yeah.
Because the points you score matter, but when you get into December football, it's a completely different ball game. So I always like to pick defense over that. But those are our NFC North predictions. You'll have an AFC team coming up.
Yep.
On Thursday's episode. You know what time it is?
I do.
It's hot in here. And we're on camera now, so you know I'm not dancing.
Oh,
I'm cutting it off. It's done.
We always said we wanted them to see it.
Okay.
Hey.
No. When we were on podcast, Dax got out of his chair.
Yeah, he would stand
get out
up.
of my chair.
Y'all don't mean that much to him. He's not going to do that for you.
Y'all mean a lot to me. I love y'all. I've said that multiple times. I feel like this weekend on posts that I've made about us going to YouTube, how appreciative I am for you.
We couldn't do any of this without.
But I'm not standing up and dancing in front of you.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Okay.
Eli, what's your hot in here? Hot take of the week.
All right. I don't know what people think about this. I really don't know where. I know Krispy Kreme. A lot of people like that.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Walmart.
Oh god. No, you did not.
Chocolate donuts.
No.
Walmart chocolate donuts. Now, I'm not saying anything else from Walmart donut-wise, but that chocolate donut is number one. It is number one.
Oh my gosh, you're an idiot. You're just it.
It is number one.
Hey, you know my WrestleMania takeover? You just put that in a whole other spectrum. You just went through a roof on idiotism.
That chocolate donut is so good. Walmart chocolate donut is my favorite donut. It is the best donut. Now, okay.
Have you ever had a Hertz donut?
Now, listen, if I'm going overall, glazed chocolate, whatever else filled, I'm not considering Walmart. But that one, if you're taking the category of chocolate donut and only that, it's number one.
Maybe if you want a soggy, moist donut.
I've got 4 at the house waiting on me.
That is very true. They are sitting on his counter right now.
And they came in yesterday, and I thought, I've already thought this. I knew this anyway, but I was like, I'll get that out there tomorrow because I've always believed that.
I'm sorry.
It's hot.
That's it.
That is hot.
I thought I was going to secure the hottest take of all time, and Eli may have just done
that. Will get some love. I promise. Other people agree with that.
I don't know how hot this is going to be, but they're everywhere. Every store you go, gas station, anywhere, they're everywhere. And I see a ton of people drinking them. And as y'all know, I'm a huge energy drink fan.
Oh, no doubt.
I have an addiction. An energy drink?
I have an addiction. I'm not afraid to.
He does. He has an addiction.
You're addicted to energy drinks?
Energy drinks and what I'm wearing on my head right now. These are my 2 addictions. But I'm going to go out and say Bang energy drinks are absolutely garbage. I hate Bang energy drinks. They make me. I've drank one time, actually twice, and both times I drank them, I literally thought I was going to have a heart attack. Like, I was shaking, and I just see people walking around just drinking them like they're a glass of water.
It makes my heart go crazy.
And I'm like, how? I guess I'm just have a week, but I drink them all. I had drank a ton of energy drinks, and I'm fine. There's just something in that Bang energy drink. I don't know what it is. Somebody, if you want to tell me what's in the energy drink, please tell me. But there's something in that thing.
Let me tell you something
that messes me up, and I hate it.
I took one while working out, and I wanted to stop because I felt like my heart was about to go through my chest.
Eli, this is very random, but I remember one of the times I drank them, I drank it before a workout, and I came home, and we played our Madden franchise game. Dude, I was sitting there with my controller, like I couldn't control myself. It was terrible. I don't know why. I just remember that. Yes, yeah. It was against you. And ever since then, like I just laid down and was like, I thought I was going to die. And I don't think they taste good either. I mean, that's another thing. I think Bang energy drinks suck. That's mine.
I completely
And if you
agree.
drink them, like, props to you. I guess you're built different, but I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Well, last week I secured the hottest take of all time.
9% agree.
9% agree.
What did you do again?
I said Mexican food.
Was the worst.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
so I secured the hottest take of all time, and I think that I could have a really hot one on this one too. But I think a lot of people are actually going to agree with me. Addison Rae, and I want you to quote this. Addison Rae is the most overrated modern celebrity, and it's not even close.
Anybody that is associated with the TikTok app, I completely agree with what you just said. How are you famous? You do nothing. You do nothing, and you're a millionaire.
Here's my deal. I watch TikTok. Great time waster.
Exactly.
Even I'm trying.
Exactly. He just said it. Great time waster.
It is a great time waster. I don't watch it during the day, but like at night when I'm like bored, about to go to sleep,
why are we wasting time?
Watch it. So here's the deal. This started forming in my head about 3 weeks ago when she called this UFC fight.
Yeah, what is she doing?
She got the job. She got the job over people who've been in journalism for 20 years, and she went to college for 3 months. So I was like, okay, that's using your celebrity to an advantage that is stupid. And one, it made me mad at the UFC. So I keep looking, and then I just keep seeing her on my For You page. It just keeps making me more mad, and the stuff she goes and do, just because she's Addison Rae. You film videos of you dancing.
I'm sure she'll see it at some point.
Addison, I know you listen to this podcast, and I think you're overrated. I think you're the dumbest celebrity that we've ever had in the modern sphere.
Wait, she's dumb, or like that's dumb that she's
like it's the dumbest that she's a celebrity.
Yeah,
it's completely. It's completely.
Well, I'm just gonna say this.
It's overrated.
I completely agree with you, and I'm looking dead at you right now when I'm talking to you.
Addison,
you're the people are why she's famous because you sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
We love you because you watch us now and you listen to us. But here's the deal. Giving her clout and following her on that stupid app, I said it's a stupid app. I don't know why I have it, but it brings joy. It's ridiculous. Why would you give her fame?
That's
look,
that's not just at Addison Ray. That's at every single one of them.
And it's just because of her looks.
It is at all of them.
Okay, here's the deal. Not all of them, because some of them are legit funny people.
Yeah, it's like
Joey Maldonado, who made it now. He's at Barstool, who does the impression of sports guy. He's hilarious. Like, people who do comedy on there are good, but people who just dance, no offense, waste of my time.
Huge.
Get off my screen
whatsoever. No talent.
Okay, they have talent. Like, people who legit dance, but
okay, but that one when
people
you just
renegade.
yes, that's the
Addison,
one.
Look right here. I totally agree with Dax.
Addison, this is we don't. Well, if you want to come on, we can make it happen.
We will totally redact this statement.
But I'm not redacting it. I'll tell it to her face.
And I'll tell that to you, and I'll tell that to every single other person that's associated with TikTok. Nothing irks my nerves more than TikTokers.
Clearly, because you call it TikTok.
Just drives me. It makes me clench my fists. Like, I hate it. I hate it.
Well, it's been another great episode of Fall Through.
Another great episode.
And you know what?
Great first episode.
Great first episode of YouTube. Thank you in advance for all you who've watched this episode today. We hope that it's been quality content as always, because that's what we strive to do.
No doubt.
And honestly, let's be 100% honest, without your purchases of the t-shirts, this wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely.
We got to upgrade because of your purchase of the t-shirts. Thank you. Those will come in August 18th, and we'll get them out that following week to you. Make sure you wear those on your college campus, your workplace, your school, wherever you are. Wear your Fall Through merch. Boys, any parting thoughts?
Y'all go to Walmart. It's not going to cost you anything. It's like $3 for a dozen, which makes it like 30 cents a donut.
Somebody find out what's in a Bang energy drink and tell me what it is, so I can figure out what it is that's trying to kill me. I would greatly appreciate it.
Addison Ray, delete your social media and go back to school and get a real education.
And that probably hit home to you because you're in journalism, and she just took over people's.
Yeah. Oh dang! I wish I could twerk on a screen and get on a ESPN UFC job.
I'm glad you said it.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Said it.
I didn't want to say it earlier, but she just twerks on a screen.
You passed up the opportunity to dance just a moment ago. And maybe you could have done the same.
Maybe so.
I mean, well, money in the pocket.
Until next time.
Peace out. Y'all get to see it this time.
See y'all.